into analyzing the movie, let's start with a quick quantum mechanics overview, teaching you in a few seconds concepts that overturned centuries
3 minutes,
of
34
established
seconds.
physics knowledge. Basically, up until 1900, scientists believed the universe ran on pretty standard laws. Jump off an object and fall to the ground. Push an object to the right and it moves to the right. Ask J.J. Abrams to direct a movie and he'll fill it with a bunch of lens flares and some big twists in the final half hour. These are the fundamental laws of nature. But at the beginning of the 1900s, scientists discovered exceptions to the established rules, specifically subatomic particles like electrons and neutrons, the building blocks of atoms. These particles often contradicted the physical world as we understood it. One of the biggest developments came in 1909. Basically, this was the year when Albert Einstein proposed the wave-particle duality of light. In order to explain some pretty funky results scientists were getting when testing light in the lab, Einstein proposed that maybe light sometimes acted like a wave, which is how everyone thought of it at the time, but then also other times acted more like a particle, just like an electron or a proton. It's a bit confusing, but it's important to understand for today's episode, so let me quickly explain the difference. Imagine a calm pond with leaves on the surface. When you drop a stone into the water, it makes
It's here this time.
circular waves, which, when they reach the leaves, cause them to bob up and down. But otherwise, the leaves stay in the same position. They don't actually follow the wave. It's the same thing with the water particles. The wave moves through them, but doesn't actually carry the particles along with it. This roughly illustrates the difference between waves and particles. A particle has mass and other measurable properties like charge, while waves don't. Waves typically, but not always, need to move through some other medium. So why do we need to cover all that? Well, because photons and their crazy properties are the basis of Doctor Strange's magical powers. Throughout the film, Doctor Strange uses light both as an offensive weapon as well as a defensive tool, manifesting mandalas of light as a shield to move and repel objects. It's crazy, right? Well, maybe not so much. You can, in fact, move objects
harnessing
using only
energy.
light. You know how wind blows into a sail and pushes it forward? Well, you can actually do something similar.
He's harnessing the
light
force
because,
from Star
as we
Wars.
just discussed, light has momentum. So let me introduce you to solar sails, large, lightweight
The force
mirror
is real.
surfaces currently being used in space to move objects long distances. Basically, the light hits one side of the sail, which has a mirrored surface. That mirror reflects away the photons coming from the sun, but in the process, the momentum of the photons is transferred to the sail, just like wind on a boat. And in space, where there's no friction to slow you down, those small bits of momentum start to build up. Photons to binding together into molecules. Per scientist Mikhail Lukin, quote, "They created a special medium in which photons interacted so strongly that they began to act as though they had mass and banded together."
See, I don't
End
like this
quote.
because
The end
there are
result,
lines in
light
Doctor
creating
Strange that
three-dimensional
specifically say that there are some
crystals.
things that
Sound
can't be
familiar?
explained.
Well, it should, because Doctor Strange is filled with crystal imagery. For instance, when Doctor Strange first meets the Ancient One, the first thing he sees is light coming from a crystal-like pattern.
Some people like
Doesn't make any sense.
Well, actually, Doctor, it makes perfect sense. The photonic light tangles itself up with the atoms in the air, so much so that the properties of the atom get passed on to the photons. At that point, the photons basically become an atom, creating solidified light. A light crystal. What you're walking through is a light crystal that is being shattered. And if that just sounds like a weird theory, a weird scientific theory, it's actually happened in real life, as a group of scientists back in 2013 already created solidified crystals made purely of light. Forget Swarovski and its silver crystals.
Did you even
I want
see the
my light
movie, dude?
crystals. And mind you, this isn't the only crystal image
You're
that we see
explaining
in
a
Doctor
visual
Strange
effect,
either.
it just
When
seems
Strange is
like.
practicing alone in this chamber,
You understand,
the
he went into the
magically
mirror world.
forms is, you guessed it, a crystal wall. No accident, Marvel did their homework on this
He
one.
went into a dimension parallel to our own,
The science behind
where he
this
could
seemingly
practice
magical
magic
moments makes
without
me appreciate the
consequence.
scenes in the movie a whole lot more. That's just commendable filmmaking, guys. Well done. And that finally brings us to the moment that we've all been waiting for. How do they get those cities to topple over one another in a strictly scientific way? The key
I don't
here
think
is to
he
listen
even
to
saw
what
the movie.
Ancient One tells Doctor Strange when they first meet.
We harness energy and shape reality.
She claims that there are two keys to their powers. harnessing energy, which they do via photons, and then secondly, shaping reality. This is a very careful choice of words. The Ancient One doesn't say that she changes reality, just that she's shaping it. Thus, reality doesn't change, only your perception of it does. It's the essence of a magic trick. From the vantage point of the audience, the bunny really does come out of the hat. The card disappears in midair and the woman is cut in two. Chris Angel gets paid to do whatever Chris Angel does. The magician has shaped reality so the audience is led to believe in the impossible. So how do you shape reality to
What is
create
this, some
upside
kind of
down,
illusion?
sideways cities?
No, this is real.
Here is
Doctor
a
Strange
Marvel
says that.
logo, which for Doctor Strange looks like a pattern you'd see in a kaleidoscope, right? Well, you are right. The patterns you see in a kaleidoscope are one version of what are known as fractals. Fractals are basically geometric patterns that infinitely repeat themselves at smaller and smaller sizes. Think of a snowflake and how the same shape is repeated over and over in every section of the flake. Well, Marvel is dropping hints all over the place that fractals power the universe of Doctor Strange, popping up all over the movie's trailer. When Doctor Strange enters the Ancient One's lair, he steps across a platform modeled after a T-square, one of the most famous recurring fractal patterns in history. The light mandala the Ancient One first shows Doctor Strange, yet another fractal repeating circular images. Even the roof above Strange's head in the scene where he wields his light whip is a fractal. And it's these images that serve as the biggest clue as to how Doctor Strange pulls off his greatest trick. It's important to note that the upside down and sideways cities aren't any different from each other. They're exact replicas of one another. The same buildings, the same cars, the same landmarks can be found in each city. That's because there's actually only one city. Only our perception
You're way
has
off,
been
film
altered to
theorists.
see multitudes of intermingling cities. This also explains why the cities start to distort at the edges of the image. These distortions prove that what we're looking at aren't actual cities on top of each other, but merely reflected
No, they
images
harness
of
energy
one city. Reality hasn't
to
changed,
warp
only
reality.
its perception has. That being said, how
They're not changing your perception of it, they're literally fucking with reality.
Best saved for another day.
But in the
Who knows,
mirror
maybe they
world,
explain that
or
one in the
dimension.
movie. Full disclosure, this is being written and edited.
Those particular guys
edited the week before the
were
movie
much
comes
more
out, but I haven't seen
powerful
it yet.
because
Thusly,
they
if
can
this
more
scene
easily
is
harness
explained in the
energy
movie and
from
this is
the
all
dark
redundant information,
dimension.
then screw you. Screw you, Marvel. Thanks for not inviting me to an early showing of the movie. You invited Markiplier. Does he have a film channel? No. Who has a film channel and is talking about your movie? Me. Giving you lots of promotion for your movie for free? Me.
You're trying to
No.
explain
Let's not invite MadPad, who has to rewatch
wizard
and
with
rewatch
science.
again the trailer a bunch of times in order to analyze the science of the movie. It's fine. Not bitter. So hopefully they don't explain this in the movie. Otherwise, this whole episode might be a moot point. Could be super embarrassing for me. Alright,
Yeah, I would
Let's
say
wrap this
so.
thing up. Long story long, if there's one thing this video has shown, it's that Kevin Feige's
It's magic.
original statement is 100%
Or at least the
correct.
science is
That
not
even though
accurate to
we
what you're
can't
trying to explain. The
away
science
magic
is
of
beyond
Doctor
you.
Strange using crazy quantum
It's-
theories, the science behind it all is indeed magical. And impressive. Whoever the science researcher is at Marvel, props to you, man. In fact, you know what? Here, actually, let me look it up. I just went on a rant about being overlooked, so I'm not gonna overlook you. Science consultant for Marvel Studios, Adam Frank. Astrophysics professor at University of Rochester. You, sir! Your name may be overlooked by the millions of moviegoers waiting for that post-credit shawarma joke, Adam, but today, the millions who hopefully watch this episode will come to know the true magician behind the scenes, and that is you. So thank you, Adam Frank, for bringing accurate science to some of the world's biggest films. For that, it might not win the Oscar. Like
One thing I liked about
but
Doctor
it's
Strange
let
is
me
it
give you
acknowledges
the
that
best
people
thing.
produce
The theorists
energy
feel
and auras
of profound work.
and can
Hashtag
experience
thank
and
Frank.
can actually
Where
go
Adam,
outside of their
you've
own
done
bodies.
Your part in making the world a slightly smarter place with science. And that is pretty darn magical.
Which has a
But
lot to
hey,
do with,
that's just a
you know,
theory,
paranormal
a
theories.
Film theory. And cut.
Doctor Strange is kinda saying ghosts are real.
Quantum mechanics in the Marvel universe.
Because energy is not science-based. Well, actually it is.
Now, if you watch this long, it means you probably
But
like
the idea that
Marvel.
energy can be,
So
that
if that's
people's
the case,
energy
then
can be
you
used
probably
to
really like the Deadpool movie. Based
travel
on reviews it
and
got,
traverse
maybe even seen my
the
Deadpool
universe
video
and
about how to
alternate
kill the
universes.
guy. In case you missed it, I'm gonna leave a link to it right here.
That's
But
not
you know what you
science-based.
probably
That's
haven't
the
seen yet?
fiction part.
Wisecrack's video on the philosophy of Deadpool, which not only has one of the most clicked
How your energy
thumbnails
can
in the
exist
history of
forever.
YouTube. I mean, I love you guys, but seriously, bright yellow and click me. You've done me so proud. But also
Y'all remember
has
when
some
Doctor
awesome
Strange possessed the
analysis of
Punisher?
movie.
In that What If story?
Literature and
Shit, I should post about that on Twitter.
Not just for the Marvel universe, but what Deadpool means for the entire movie industry these days. It's incredible. I was watching this.
I didn't like your film theories. You're saying light particles and this and that.
It's a good reaction to have when you're watching a video, and that's why I really like sharing their stuff with you.
You remind me of
I love their videos.
Doctor Strange.
If you like this channel, you're gonna like their videos too.
Before he
These
became
are guys that deserve
magical.
Way more love on their videos, so please,
It's like, no,
right
the universe
here
is
on
nothing but
Deadpool's
matter
butt cheek,
and blah blah blah.
Deadpool will thank you for it.
And then she
He'll also
punches
enjoy you rubbing your
his
mouth
aura
on
out of
his
his
left
body
butt cheek.
momentarily.
It will be very pleasurable to him. He'll probably make some sort of
You're like,
sexual
no.
innuendo. Anyway, with that, I'm done. Next
I don't
week,
even
we
think you
will
got
move
into
on
alternate
to
realities at all, did you? I don't think
Kickstarter
so.
for a Wall-E theory that will decimate you.
I kind of felt like
excited about it. I will never
Doctor
watch
Strange
that movie
got
the same
into
way again. And
string
honestly,
theory,
it was my
multiple
favorite Pixar movie to begin with,
dimensions,
so I'm excited
more so
about that
than
one. Hopefully we'll see ya
light
next
particles being able to move and
Post-credit
bend
shawarma
shit.
joke. I don't know what the joke is. I, once again, was not invited to the early showing, so there you go.
I kind of think what they're doing is like with Thor, he comes from a civilization so advanced that their technology is like magic. I think with Doctor Strange, I have two theories with Doctor Strange. He's a part of this magical group that's been secret and hidden away. And you know, they say we would be a lot more advanced had we not, you know, gotten through so many societal setbacks, the Dark Ages and wars and all this other stuff. We'd be a lot more advanced had it not been for all these setbacks. I heard someone say that because they're a secret organization that's always existed and they were unaffected by these outside sources, that their understanding of how the universe works progressed to a level the rest of the world hasn't gotten to yet. Another theory is that, you know, you look through history, people relied on things and without even really understanding how they worked for so long. Just because you don't exactly understand how it works doesn't mean that you can't get it to work. I don't know, what am I talking about now? I'm trying to explain Doctor Strange in my own way. Now, he's magic.